Yes.
Working on Guardians. It's the first Marvel property that really a vast majority of mainstream America doesn't know about. Do you feel any pressure to kind of meet the standards set by Robert Downey Jr. and Samuel L. Jackson, some of the other larger Marvel films that are more well known?
Yep. No, I don't know. Not really. This is something Kevin Feige said, who's like the head of Marvel, is that like, looking back now, Iron Man is such a huge property and everybody knows Iron Man, but before the movie came out, it kind of was a similar question, like why Iron Man? Why would people bring this up? Now, granted, Guardians of the Galaxy is like a slightly lesser known property than that was, but I don't feel like the pressure's on me as much as it is just on Marvel, and I feel safe knowing that they know what they're doing. They hired a great director. It was a really good script. We had a hell of a time doing it, and from the stuff that I've seen, I think it's going to be really good. So, luckily Marvel's a big enough studio to be able to get people excited about it before it comes out. I mean, Marvel itself seems to have a big enough reach to get people intrigued for their properties, and hopefully that carries through, and I hope that we made a really good movie so people will talk about it after they see it.
Did you know about the property before you accepted the role, or did you phone up on it after the fact?
I did know about it. There was like a stretch in my childhood where I collected comic books. I won $300 playing bingo with my mom. Boy, she'd love to be here tonight. I would not be able to find her. But I won $300 playing bingo, and my friends collected comic books, and it was right around the early 90s. There's a big resurgence in comic books in my town where I grew up at that time, and I think Wolverine had just been reissued, and there's a new incarnation of the Guardians of the Galaxy that come out. And my friend Travis Osborne collected Guardians of the Galaxy from the first one on, and so it's a big hobby of ours to just like draw pictures out of the comic books. We'd sit around and draw, and that was oddly, for a kid who didn't really collect comic books aside from blowing $300 on comic books when I won at bingo. I didn't know that much about comic books, but coincidentally, that was one of the comic books that I had bought a few of. But it was a different version of Guardians of the Galaxy. Star-Lord wasn't a part of that incarnation, but he came in at a different time.
At this stage of the game, what does this award mean to you tonight?
Oh, at this stage, having an 18-month-old baby at home, it means I get to get dolled up with my wife and get out and have a really good night. It feels great. There's a piece that they're going to show, I think, before I go on stage or something that they sent me, and it actually meant a lot just to see that someone had put time and effort into kind of putting together this reel of some of the stuff I've done recently, and it's one of the few moments I've actually taken a moment to step back and take a look at the last couple of years of my life, and you don't want to tempt the evil eye or anything like that, and it can all go away in a second, but I felt proud, and I felt good about the stuff that I've been doing, and I've been lucky and had a chance to work with some really great filmmakers and work on some good stuff, and this comes along, and I don't know, it feels really nice.
How do you get ready for something like this, your first huge action film?
Oh, physically, there's a certain physicality that comes with playing a comic book hero, so a huge part of that, my preparation was just strictly physical, just trying to get in good shape. That was the primary focus, I think, for me getting ready was getting in shape and also listening to the really killer soundtrack that this movie has. It's a big part of the story, as you'll see when you see the movie, is the music that's involved, both for this character and for the movie itself. It's a big part of what makes Peter Quill, or Star-Lord himself, is this music that we got to listen to when he was a kid, and it accompanies him on his adventure through space and through the team's adventure through space, so you get to listen to some really killer music while watching the movie, which is really smart of James Gunn. And so I listened to that soundtrack over and over, and just worked out really hard, and watched a handful of different, epic space movies, and I don't know.
Besides being set in space, how would you say Guardians is going to be different from the other Marvel movies?
Well, this is it'll be different from the other Marvel movies that you've seen, recently at least, in that it's a team that comes together, but you're really getting the origin story of all these characters in one movie. you know, you're being introduced to all of these characters, whereas like Avengers, you got to see Iron Man on his own, and you get to see the Hulk on his own, and Thor on their own, and Captain America. They all come together for this epic movie. This is like a team coming together in one movie, and you're being introduced to these characters. That sets it apart. It definitely, you know, it explores areas of the galaxy that you've never seen in the Marvel, that exist in the Marvel universe. And tonally, I think it's unlike anything they've ever done. It's loaded with really good comedy. Takes its drama very seriously. It's a spectacle, but also you know, understands that audiences know what to expect from a spectacle movie, and uses that a little bit to create some comedy. I think it's really original. It's unlike anything I've ever seen, not only in the Marvel universe, but anywhere.
Do you know if you're going back to Parks and Rec next season?
I am going back to Parks and Rec next season. We'll start August the 4th, and we're doing another season. I'm thrilled about it.
You have to be quiet about Jurassic World, but is there anything you can share with us about that?
Ooh, I think I'm gonna run from some dinosaurs. We start. I go there in about 6 days. So yeah, the story is really, really good. I think, you know, it's been 21 years since the first one came out, and what's nice is that over time, the story itself is allowed to develop the way that it would in that fictional world that Jurassic Park exists. Without giving away too much, it definitely, yeah, there's that element to it. You know, I think they're really fabulous characters, both for me and for Bryce, and some of the other characters that are in it. It's another, you know, in their long line of the tradition of casting, making inspired casting choices and having really strong characters. I think this does it as well. So it's not just it's just not just a movie about people running from dinosaurs. There's some cool character stuff that happens in there.
What's an ideal date night for you and your wife?
Ideal date night? Aw. One of us wins an award. And, no, I would say ideal date night, something simple for us, you know, these days, out, having fun, rocking and rolling really hard, and in bed by like 9. Oh man, I'm really excited to work with Anna again. I love watching her work. She's one of the very few people in my life that make me laugh as hard as she does. She's a nut. She's crazy and hilarious, and it's something we've been talking about for a really long time. And Steve Pink's a terrific director. We love him and his work, and you know, we wanted to do something like this for a while, and a script came along, and we read it, and we're like, wow, this would be really, really fun. So I think we're going to have a really good time when we get to make that movie, and I have a feeling it's going to be the funniest movie you've ever seen.
What's it like going from these two huge projects, going back to TV?
You know, the scope and size of a project in terms of like production value or budget, all of that stuff is just something you kind of see on paper. I think when it really comes down to it, the real thing that happens on a set is the connection you make with the people that you're working with, the crews, and with your cast, and the tightness, the family that's formed. And so, you know, for me, working with the team from Parks and Recreation is something I just love doing. There's not a single bad egg among the group. I love everybody I work with. We've been doing it it'll be 7 years, and we're still thrilled to go to work. I mean, we're really lucky in that way. You'd think it would be like that in all the show business, you know, like in every TV show or every movie, because it's just such a cool thing to do, but surprisingly it's not. Like, there are a bunch of a-holes out there that you're like, oh, why are you not having fun, you know? So everyone has a good time working on Parks and Rec, and yeah, we're thrilled to go back. So it's very welcome to go back to that family.
What was Jessica Chastain like on the set of Zero Dark 30?
Oh, stunning and talented and wonderful. All right, thanks guys. Have a good night.